Air 69, Charlie Kilo, no problem. And somebody called to depart from somewhere, who was it? Envoy 3586, no problem at all, yep. Release for departure, clearance forward if not off in 5 minutes. If not off in 5 minutes, report your intention to this frequency within 10 minutes. Change with badge, your frequency is approved. Papa Zero Golf Zero, so maintain 3000. Air 69 Charlie Kilo, roger. Radar services terminated, squawk 1200, frequency change approved, behind. Oh, and welcome to VATSIM, you'll love it. See you later, Envoy 3586, identical, no maintain level 330, clear direct heaven. Yeah, I'm using real world radios. You're not going to hear everybody, so it's what you're hearing is. That's all good. Don't worry about it. Envoy 3586, just ident for me, please. With 3586, ident received, you better contact 5 miles north of the Tallahassee Airport, resume navigation.
And hello fellow aviators, VREF Summer here. Welcome to this Friday night flight. We're here in beautiful Orlando, Florida, heading up on another Coastal Airways charter flight in the MD-83. Tonight we're heading up to the Great White North, an international destination, Montreal, Canada, in the province of Quebec. So we have the, once again, yellowfin Coastal Airways MD-83. You can't miss that distinct blue paint scheme on the outside of this bird. Orlando SC is our customer, the Major League Soccer side, and they are all on board and ready to go this evening on this flight. So the front door, we gotta get the aft stairs up. Let's go ahead, let's hop on inside and get underway. Just a few cleanup items to take care of here in the cockpit before we officially close up, release the brakes, and get completely underway. But once again, thanks for tuning in. We had Aviation Geek saying, hey, thanks so much. Cat Gary, hello. See, you're heading up to my home turf. Awesome. Well, it's going to be a long, well, not super long, pretty typical for one of our charter flights, but about
6433,
3 hours
approach. That was when you have
for the
information,
entire
Charlie.
flight, maybe a little under the flight time. But yeah, heading up to Montreal tonight. Looking forward to it. Really excited to be getting to do this. We do need to pick up our clearance with Jacksonville Center right now, so that's what I'm going to do right now. Let's try to get a word in with Howard, who is controlling us at Jack Center tonight, and see if we can get our clearance. Here we go. First off, let me make sure I have the most current ATIS. It's been a while since, so yep, still Charlie. So okay. Jack Center Riptide 5802 on the ground at Orlando. I'd like to pick up IFR to Montreal.
It's 5802 Jack Center, clear to the Montreal Airport, phase 3 departure, VIAP transition as filed, Columbia SID, expect flight level 350, 10 minutes after departure, squawk 2714.
Riptide 5802, cleared to Montreal, phase 3 departure, VIAP transition as filed, Columbia SID, expect flight level 350 and squawk 2714.
Papa 0 Golf Sierra, turn left heading 090, descend to maintain 1600.
Maintain 1600, and what was the heading?
Papa 0 Golf Sierra, turn left heading 090, descend to maintain 1600.
Just gonna wait for him to give us a read back before we continue with our next items here.
Riptide 5802, read back correct. Information, Charlie's current at Orlando, runway 36 left, call for taxi.
Okay, Riptide 5802. Alright, so yep, 36 left is what we were planning. Let's go ahead and start with our briefing really quickly. It's beautiful weather down here in Orlando, as you can see right now on the outside the windscreen here. Let me pull up our
Papa 0 Golf Sierra, Orlando International.
aviationweather.gov window.
10 miles.
The internet web browser. Okay, here we are. So right now we're looking at here in Orlando, winds are 0 knots, 10 miles, broken at 5,500, broken at 10,000, 23 and 16, 30, 10 on the meters is set across the board. And it's going to be getting stormy later today. Up in Montreal, pretty nice day. It's winds are out of the west at 7 knots, 15 miles, visibility, clear skies, 12 for the temperature, 6 for the dew point, 30, 21 on the meters, and VMC all day. The international destination, we do have the alternate this evening of Quebec City. So Charlie Yankee, Quebec Bravo. Let me put that in here so we can check that too. Charlie Yankee, Quebec Bravo. And I believe it is. It's also pretty nice weather. Yeah, in case we have an issue, we can still get there. Let's go ahead and hop over to our standard briefing tool. And no convective sigmets down here in Florida or along our route. We're going to be going up the eastern seaboard. I can show you really quickly in some brief. So we're going to be heading right over Charleston, South Carolina, and up past Norfolk.
There, you want me to bring it back around? You kind
New York City from 35,000 feet, so that'll be cool.
There.
And straight up the Vermont border with New York into Quebec. But as you can see, no convective sigmets we need to worry about for that.
Papa 0 Golf Sierra, Roger, the winds,
Airmat-wise,
tree, runway 36 left, clear to land.
Do have moderate icing that tops at 22,000 feet. We should be above that in that area. And then, but if we had to descend for whatever reason in that area, we keep that in mind. And then also moderate turbulence between 24 and 36 once we get into the Virginia area, really until we get into Jersey. So we'll keep that in mind. Also some moderate icing.
32, looks like you might be off the arrival there just a little
Freezing
bit.
level
Turn
at
left
14.
heading 090, pilot's discretion, maintain 3000.
Alright, let's continue here. Surface analysis, it's beautiful. There's just high pressure all up and down the eastern seaboard of the United States and up into southern Canada. So not anticipating any extreme weather today. And wind-wise, it's relatively light. We'll have a little bit of a quartering headwind from the left affecting us as we head up to Quebec today. But a little lighter than last week on our flight up to Columbus. ETAR-wise, let's check out what it's looking like below us as we fly up the eastern coast of the United States. Plenty of nice weather airports in case we do have to set down suddenly. So not anticipating many problems on that front. And PIREPS, It's pretty late at night in the real world here, so not a lot going
Denver
on.
6433, if you're back on course, you can descend via the arrival.
We have an A320 that was at 6,000 feet over Savannah. Rime, ice, and light precipitation at 6,000, but shouldn't affect us with what we're doing today, and just a few little showers in that area, as you can see, which matches what they were saying in the PIREP. That's the only real precip on along our route this evening. Well, let's hop over to our release really quickly, and already went over the weather. We are flight 5802, Riptide 5802, departing Orlando, going to Montreal. We're on the right aircraft, 4908 Charlie Sierra, and that does match our aircraft that we are on, thankfully, which is an important thing to make sure. And there's our placard there, 4908 Charlie Sierra. And make sure you're on the right airplane. You'd be surprised. It has happened in real life. I mean, the ACARs and computer sign-ins have helped, but
Delta 1511
still gotta
cross
check.
in pin at maintain level 290.
Let's see here. And Quebec City is our alternate. Fuel-wise, yes, good. We do have our fuel on board. So we're planning 30,400. We have 30,300 on board, and we need 29.6 in order for mid takeoff.
Left, taxi the Ram via Alpha. Have a good night.
Includes our fuel for the alternate and also our reserve. No MELs on the aircraft today. No TAM-wise, nothing that's really affecting us other than, I'm not sure if I got it highlighted or not, but I looked through the no TAMs, and up in Montreal, there is a runway closed. It's 24 right, and they're landing to the west today, southwest, but we'll be landing probably on 24 left. That's the side of the airport that our parking will be in, the FBO for the soccer team to get off at. No other NOTAMs that should affect us today. Adverse weather's good. Taxi route wise, let's go ahead and check that out. Let me close the internet browser.
Might have a little trouble again. Turn right heading 100, descend to maintain.
And let's pull up Navigraph really quickly and see. I'm gonna have to load it on the sim. I always forget to do this before I start the stream. But it's all right. Doesn't take long with the new setup, which is nice with its SimBrief integration. But yeah, taxiing out of Orlando here. We'll call up ATC, and likely we're going to get Alpha left, Bravo 10, and 36 left.
At this hour, taxi is at your discretion on Unicom.
One of the threats, just to make sure we do actually turn left to Bravo 10, we don't continue south on Alpha. 12,004 feet of runway available, which is plenty. Speeds are set. V1's 141, VER 146, and V2 155 is also set in the speed bucket. Flaps are going to be at 4.0, and trim, all of that is set for that also. And we're just going to need to be mindful of the maneuvering speeds. So V-flap maneuvering speed with the flaps out is 160, with just the slats is 191, and then clean is 235. So we'll make sure we get up to 235 before we fully retract the slats and fly clean, which does take a little while on this plane. Rejected takeoff criteria. It's going to be standard abort criteria, so below 80 knots, we'll reject the takeoff for a variety of reasons. At or above 80 knots, we're only going to reject the takeoff if we have engine fire, severe engine damage, or the aircraft is exhibiting the inability to get or stay airborne, or some wind shear. That would be the other reason we would reject the takeoff. Clearance-wise, you heard Howard there. Squawking 2714. We have that in the box down here. And it's as filed. And climbing via the SID, which is the Faith 3 RNAV departure. Top altitude departing to the north is 16,000. We have that set and armed. In the, let's check our route here. So off at 36 right, it's a heading of 005, which is set. And intercept course of
6433, turn right heading 125.
033 to cross Coyote at or above 2300. We get the data on here. Coyote at or above 2300. Gears at or above 3,000 with a max of 230 knots to that point. Buffy, Faith at or above 14,000. Midbog at or above 16,000. And then we have Bikini, Femon, Viap. With that, Viap, and then let y'all look at the route here on the full map. I'm going to switch it over to IFR high though. Okay, they have Viap. Then we have Susie Q. I'm going to look at my release on my phone. So Susie Q, Talon, J Ross, LD, Yiso. Let's make sure that's next. Yep. Pack, Jamie, Comfer, Emgert.
6433 to send and maintain 3000.
Where's Emgert? We're getting up toward New York City at that point. Leah, Merca, JFK, so right over Kennedy International. That's going to be cool. Lund, Cambridge, Jasdu, Peaburg. Now we're on the arrival into Montreal, which we're likely landing 24 left. So Peaburg, Lats is 11,000. N dot Lats is 11,000 at or above 11. Eb dot at or below 11. Dunup at or below 9,000 for land 24 left. Then Rockty. Actually, we're gonna have to wait and get the runway loaded, but we'll verify that part of it when we get up there. You can see this is set for the northeast landing, but we'll verify the runways and winds once we're getting closer to Montreal, since we still have a couple hours, so that's gonna happen. Yeah, 1,168 nautical miles en route up to Montreal, and in the release we were showing a total distance of 1,171, so that is within 3 miles. That's really close, so that's great. Automation level on departure at 400 feet. We'll get nav mode arm, VNAV at 1,000 feet above field elevation, which will be at about pretty much at 1,000, 1090 or so. And engine failure path straight out 3,000 feet. We'll come back around to land here at Orlando more than likely. Transition altitudes, flight level 180. Well, that is all I have. If you all have any questions, please don't hesitate to speak up and say something. I'm going to go ahead and run the cockpit crew checklist. There we go. Flight recorder and aids is tested and checked. AHARS alignment verified. FMS GPS is checked and cross-checked. Emergency lights are armed. Go ahead and get the seatbelt signs on now that we have the fuel on. Cabin signs on and on. Windshield anti-ice switch is on. Engine sync selector switch is off. Stall warnings tested. Air conditioning shut off switch auto. Air protection system is tested. TRP tested. Fuel quantity, we have 30,300 pounds. Altimeters are 3010 set and cross-checked. Fuel shutoff lever is off. And cabin pressure level auto. Cockpit crew checklist complete. We have everyone on board. Let me double check that with GSX really quickly. I believe we have everyone on board. This parking is too small for your aircraft. We're all good. So let's go ahead and run our start checklist. It's time to get this show on the road. Yeah, that's going to close the stairs for us. Anti-collision lights on. Oh no. Forgot to get the APU started. That happens sometimes. So you know what that means? Is I'm going to have to autopilot. It disconnected the external power on me. See, look at that. It's going on and off. Forget that GSX will do that. Well, that's fun. So,
55, roger, release for departure,
off.
clearance void if not off in 5 minutes. If not off in 5 minutes, report your intentions. This frequency of your intentions no later than...
Which we will get it here in a bit.
Autopilot.
I'm just going to shut that off.
Okay,
With
355, yep,
APU
just go back
on,
to
there we
Unicom,
go.
report your intentions on Unicom, and then call me airborne. Hello,
All right,
1511,
we'll
Miami centers
run. We'll do a
offline, radar services terminated,
quick check
frequency
of
change
everything
approved,
here.
have a
Make sure
nice landing
everything's
down
looking
there in
good, and
Southwest
we'll get
Florida.
it going here again. Just want to make sure everything, nothing got too messed up. So when something like that happens, you definitely need to make sure you run a quick scan and check stuff again.
See you later. Endeavor 6433, the wind 010, tree runway 8, clear to land.
Technically, should not have had the GSX will disconnect the ground power on you if you turn the anti-collision light on, apparently. So keep that in mind with the Mad Dog. I did not realize that, but now I do. So, alright, everything's looking good so far. That's our announcement that we had. Get this reset. Andrew Green, hey, welcome aboard. Thanks for joining in, Andrew. Glad you're here on board tonight. We had the ground crew pull the external power a little prematurely, so dealing with that at the moment. Get the air on here. Let's get the... Alright, there we go. We'll go ahead and get the door locked, get the jump seat out for you all. I think we are going to have to reload the FMC, unfortunately. I think it dumps everything. Yeah, it looks like it did. Yep, so we'll get everything reset here. 005 is that initial heading on the departure we just briefed, and our speed V2 is 155. Got that set. Altitude initially is going to be 16,000 as briefed on the VATSIM RNAV departure, and got everything set here. Yep, this all looks good. 3010.
Cover 3586, no
We got to
Miami
reset
centers
our
offline, radar
flex
services
at
terminated,
50.
frequency change approved. Have a good night down there, we'll see you.
So I mean, you got to go back and reset
over to
everything.
advisory
Let's make
for
sure our
runway
zero fuel is still
3586.
good
This
at
will be it for us. Have a good one, Howard.
102.4. It
Alright, you're welcome,
is
see you later.
30.3. Got our speed, so that was all manually set. We set our speed cards here on the 132,000 pound card. So our takeoff weight.
Spring 355, ident, climb and maintain flow level
So
390.
that's still in good shape. So we just need to reload the FMC. So you get to see me do that. Typically I'll do that before I start the stream just to try to save some time, but well, we'll get to do it tonight. So taking off out of Orlando. Already has our route there, or our position there, and got put in Montreal. Starting off 36 left. Our runway here. We're departing on the Faith 3 RNAV departure with the VIAP transition. Sean, hey, thanks, Sean. Thanks for checking in. Hello to you also. Thanks again for your help getting this all set up. All right. So after VIAP, it's Q87 and
Spring 355, it's a little
J-Ross.
thing to read about uncontrolled field operations that might help you understand things a little bit better.
All right, gotta keep putting this in. LD. Need to put an extra L. That's the thing. These RNF fixes are always going to be 5 letters. So if you see it too short like that, you know there's a problem. Immediately caught my eye there. I'm like, that looks too short. LD. Then we have Q97. Pack. Yep. And Jamie. Put Jamie in. Confer. There we go. Ah, that's right. I gotta do. Jamie has multiple fixes across the world. There's Confer. Q133 is our We got the Q route out to our fix of Lund with 2 L's. LLUND. Then we have Cambridge. Well, there we go.
River
Cambridge.
6433, turn right on Alpha, then
Jazz
hotel
do.
into the ramp. Have a good night.
We got multiple
Airways
Cambridges.
355, going to be closing up. Radar services terminated. Frequency change approved. Have a good flight up to
Oh, we
Atlantic
just
City. We'll see
missed
you later.
Howard. It sounds like he's getting ready to close up on
Aircraft Jacksonville Center
Jack
is now
Center. There he
closed. Monitor
goes.
Unicom 122.8.
Alright, see you, Howard. Thanks again. At least we got our clearance from him. Peaburg, and then we have the Carter for arrival into Montreal with the Peaburg transition. So there we go. That all looks good. We'll go through and I'll check it one more time. Fuel wise, like we said, we have 30,200 now, so 30.2. Slant Alpha for our schedule. Zero fuel weight is at 102,400 pounds, so we'll put 102.4. That's in reserves, so we'll have our alternate fuel plus our FAR reserve. That's going to be 8,100 pounds, so 8.1 in that. Cruising altitudes, flight level 350. It's going to give us our note. Oh, sorry. Perf. And cruise winds are 280 at 71 knots. So relatively light, all things considered. And ISA deviation, the temperature deviation up there, it's 8 degrees Celsius above standard atmospheric temperatures. Like we said, our V speeds are going to be a V1 of 141 for our takeoff decision speed, 146 for VR, and the V2 is going to be 155 knots. Bring legs up in here. I'll have the speed standing by on the second unit over here. Our takeoff speeds, just so we have them to quickly reference, and 155 is set in the speed window. Alright, everything looks good there. Let me just do a quick run through the legs, make sure I didn't fat finger anything really quickly. So yeah, the 3.6 right, keynotes, or coyote, I'm sorry, at above 2300, ears 230 knots at above 3, Buffy, Faith, at above 14, Midbog, at above 16, Bikini, Beamon, Viap, Suzy Q, Talon, J. Ross, LD, Yiso, Pack, Jamie, Confer, Umgurk, Leah, Merca, longer route, as you can see. And then we have Kennedy, Lund, Cambridge, Jazdu, Peaburg, and on the arrival there, it's just we'll verify those legs when we're getting closer. More detail about lattice at or above 11, E-boot Edbot at or above or below 11,000, Dunap at or above 9, at or below 9,000, and then Maytep, and then that's where it will go off to the other runways. All right, cool. That's all. That's all I got. Other than, let me just make sure that total distance still is at 1168, 1171 is what we planned. So that all looks good. Awesome. I think we're all ready to go now. I think we finally have the APUs running, so we're not going to have the GPU suddenly pulled on us this time. Have to reset everything. That's, oh man, that's a bummer, but we'll be all right. All right, let's go ahead and run the before start check then. Just got this. It's good. Anti-collision is on now. Let's check our panel state here. Go ahead and get the supply off. And we'll use system A and get all the Pumps on. Let me make sure we don't have anything in the auxiliary tanks. We do not. Okay. Perfect. Before start check, parking brakes are set. EFB, let's put that in flight mode really quickly. Light mode. Excellent. Pneumatic pressure is at 42 psi. Engine ignition selector, system A. Left, right, center, fuel tank pumps all on. Anti-collision lights on. APU norm, econ switch is in norm. Yep. Air conditioning supply switches off. Pneumatic crossfeed levers open. And thrust levers idle. Before start checklist complete, let's start. Alright. 3, 2, 1, here we go. We are clear. And 2. Oil pressure. Just waiting for our max motoring at 20% and 2, and then we'll throw the fuel in. There's max motoring. There's our fuel. And light off. Excellent. That is what we like to see. There's 40%. Let's start a cutout. And EGT is going down. Let's wait on the N1, stabilize everything. Stabilize, cool. Let's start number 1 then. It's going to be a short taxi. We're clear on the left. Here we go. N2. Oil pressure. And one's coming up. That's good. Max motoring. And light off. Alright, it's looking good. Except that N2 is kind of getting a little hung up there, but here it goes. It's coming through. This aircraft has quite a few failures, so you do have to keep an eye on stuff. There's our 40% starter cutout. Awesome. Alright, I'm gonna let the engine stabilize. There we go. Temperatures are looking good. Let's check our generators really quickly.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you could please have your attention,
Just make
please,
sure everything
as
looks
the
good
flight
here.
in preparation for departure, be
Turn off the
sure to
APU generators. Turn off
maintain
the
forward and that your carry-on
ignition.
completely under the seat in front of you or in an overhead bin.
Get the APU off. This all looks good. We don't need any of the anti-ice.
Clapouts, and pre-memory instructions. To fasten your seatbelt, place the metal fitting into
And
the
I'm gonna go ahead and check our controls. Just go ahead and get the whole after start and for taxi stuff all completed at once. Alright, awesome. Alright, after start check. Engine ignition selector off. Pitot and static heaters on, captain. Airfoil and engine anti-ice switches off. Air conditioning supply switches auto. Door Q light is checked and off. Got the jump seat out. You're fully briefed back there. Hydraulic system is checked and set. We're at 3000 psi. After check complete. Taxi and check. APU air switch off. TRP art is off. We're flexing. V-bugs are set at 141, 146, 155. Flight instruments and FGS checked. Flight controls tested. Flaps, slat levers are actually, hold up. This is why we do a checklist. I'm actually going to be at 4 tonight. So used to having those other, yep. So 4.0 extended auto brake, auto spoiler, takeoff, and arms, aileron, rudder, and stab trim 0, 0 checked. Takeoff briefing performed. Cabin report obtained. Taxiing checklist complete. Clear on the right. Clear on the left. A quick view outside the aircraft. And here we go. And that's associated master caution. It's art in op. Let me switch this over to CTAF 122.8. And I'll pull up our airport diagram for us. Let's get this thing rolling. I'll take a little extra thrust. There it goes. Orlando International Traffic Riptide 5802 MD-83 taxiing from West Ramp to only 36 left via Alpha Bravo 10 Orlando. Alright. And like we said, that threat is just to make sure we don't continue south on Alpha past Bravo 10. We need to take that left turn at Bravo 10 to get to runway 36 left. So that's what we'll plan to do. If you all see anything, please don't hesitate to speak up in the chat and say something. Once we get above 10,000 feet, I'm actually going to be going into the voice channel, so we might have some of the other coastal pilots and operations guys hopping in to chat for a bit, and that's just may or may not happen. So if they're in, it'd be great. We'll have a good conversation just about some of the just talk aviation and coastal airways and what's going on. And if they're not around, we'll probably definitely plan to talk a little bit about the Major League Soccer season and just what's going on with Orlando SC and also the other team that we charter, Inter Miami. So both having some so-so seasons, but the table is very tight. The standings are very tight in the Eastern Conference where these teams compete. So it's still anybody's chance to get into the playoffs or even to win the MLS Supporters Shield, which is the equivalent of the President's Trophy in NHL. All right, checking our slurs. Yep, making sure takeoff warning's good. All right, final is looking clear. We're gonna go ahead and get out of here. So I'm gonna make a radio call. Orlando International Traffic Riptide 5802 taking off runway 36 left at Bravo 10. We'll be departing to the north, Orlando. All right, get all the lights, fun stuff on here. All right. 36 left, Bravo 10 is verified. Final is clear. We're clear for takeoff. For takeoff check. Takeoff runway 36 left. Bravo 10 entry point Bravo 10. Takeoff data is confirmed. Fuel balance is checked. We have 29,950 on board. We need 29.6. That's good. Brake temperatures checked. Engine ignition selector is both. And EOAP checked. For takeoff check complete. I have controls. Here we go. Get up to 1.4 on the EPR. There it is. Set thrust. Thrust set. Clamp. 80 knots. Check. We're a heavy bird, so this is going to be a long takeoff roll. V1. Rotate. Ooh, she's heavy. There we go. Pause to rate. Gear up. Nav mode. Nav check. V. Let's go to climb. VNav. There we go. Alright, once we get to 191, we'll go to flaps 0. Well, didn't hear anybody on the radio. I think it's really kind of cleared out here in the Orlando area for sure. Get the radar on really quickly. There we go. Alright, flap 0. And we're meeting all the altitude restrictions so far, which is good. And let's see, our clean maneuvering speed is 235, so we can't retract the flaps fully or get the slats up until we get past our speed restriction. I need to be over on the legs page. There we go. All right, cool. Now we can keep accelerating. 235, and we'll go get the slats retracted. All right. Flaps up. Autopilot on. Here we go. I'll do our cleanup items here. Kick off check. A lot to do in this cockpit. Definitely made for 2 pilots. There's no mistaking that. Alright. Let's go through the after takeoff check here. Brake temperatures are checked. They look good down there. Landing gear up, lights off. Auto brake off. Speed brake lever retracted. Flap slat lever is up, retracted. Engine ignition selector off. Center fuel tank pumps. We still have 10,400 pounds in the center, so we'll leave those on. And altimeters, we'll leave those alone until we get to our transition altitude of level 180. After takeoff check complete. Awesome. And right now we're looking at a ram air temperature of 21 degrees Celsius outside, so we're definitely not in icing conditions as we go through these clouds. Which is good. Awesome. Take a quick look outside the aircraft. Good. Alright, there's 10,000 feet. I'll go ahead and give them the flight attendant bells in the back there. I want to retract the wing lights. We don't need those out. And I'm going to turn off the EFB. This long flight like this, it's going to run that battery down pretty low level. Get a little bit of stutters on my end, so I'd imagine if I'm getting it, you all are probably getting it on the stream too. I apologize for that. I do not know what's causing that. Could be any number of issues. It could be trying to download an update on my Windows system, for all I know. It loves to do that when I'm simming. But I've had smooth flights for the last few weeks, so hopefully maybe it's just the clouds here, something's getting caught up, but hopefully it'll correct itself. Andrew Green says, "You sound clear to me." Okay, cool. Thank you, Andrew. Thanks. The sim seems to be kind of stuttering a little bit on my end, but cool. Thank you. All right, I'm gonna hop into the voice channel really quickly. There we go. And we'll see if any of the other guys here at Coast want to hop in. They're more than welcome to. If not, that is fine too. We will be checking in with some of the MLS season updates as we get up to cruise altitude here in a while. I'm gonna go ahead and set in cruise altitude, which is flight level 350. There's 35. That's set. Sean, where do you think Messi will end up? Could it be Inter Miami? You know, Sean, that's the rumor, is that they were the leading candidate, at least in the MLS. But if I had to take a guess, I would say he's probably going to end up, if he's not, I think he's either going to end up in Argentina. I've heard he kind of wants to play for his kind of hometown club where he grew up. Or he'll end up in Saudi Arabia, because they're going to throw a ton of money at him in that Saudi Arabian league where Cristiano Ronaldo went. And maybe after those two, if he somehow does not play for either of those teams, maybe then Inter Miami. And I gotta say, where I live in Nashville, there's the rumor, hey, Nashville's put themselves in position to try to get Messi in Nashville. But if it's MLS, I do think it'll be Inter Miami and David Beckham. And I don't know if you heard what they said about Messi and MLS is that apparently they were trying to work out a deal where all the other teams would basically pay part of Messi's salary for him to play for Inter Miami. So you're basically be paying to have this guy come and just beat up on your team. And it's like, no. I guess they're trying to argue and say, well, it's going to be good for the league because a ton of people are going to want to watch it, which could be the case. But still, I'm kind of the opinion that if they want him, they need to find a way to pay for him. And I don't want my team paying for him, that's for sure. But we'll see, Sean. We will see once the European seasons kind of wrap up here in the near future. So, we could be flying virtual Messi by the end of the summer on our charter flights. There's no telling. Well, looks like we leveled off at 16. I need to keep us climbing. There we go. Nice. I was like, why have we? It sounds awfully quiet. We need to keep going up. It leveled off at the top of climb. And we still have a long way to go. Well, Andrew Green, I hope your day went well. I hope that you had a good evening also. Appreciate you checking in. Regular guest here on the VRF Simmer live streams. So thank you for checking in. I might have to see what's going on with my processes here. My computer. Sometimes Flight Simulator 2020 does not optimize well. We'll start using all the CPU and barely using the the GPU. So there could be something like that going on. Alright, let me get the lights off. And the logo lights off. Altimeters are 2992, cross-checked, and external lights are set, and we're off to the races. I'm going to check on the pressurization really quickly. Cabin is climbing normally. Got everything set in our pre-flight, and everything's looking good on the electrical side of the equation, so that's good. Alright, awesome. So you can also check the heaters, make sure everything's looking good over here. Awesome. Sean said, wow, I agree. He would be good from a marketing perspective. I'd also love to see him play in the USA, but think Miami should pay for it. Yep, I agree completely, Sean. Absolutely. Andrew Green, how old is this airplane? This airplane's, gosh, really old. We have to ask Jason, the CEO here at Coastal. He kind of does research on the tail numbers, but I think we purchased, I know the other MD-83 that we have was an old American Airlines jet. I think a lot of these planes are from the 80s, so maybe early 90s, so they're pretty old. Like 30 years old. Sean said, I also read Barcelona, or Barca. Oh, I'm sorry. Barca is a rumor too, but La Liga. Yeah, Barcelona is a rumor too, but La Liga said he would have to lower his salary requirements. Yeah, it seemed like the COVID pandemic did a real number on La Liga and some of those teams over there. We saw PSG emerge as the big money bank, basically taking a lot of the top players over to Paris. And I guess that's where Messi is. I think I read Messi was in trouble or being fined by PSG for taking an illegal trip to Saudi Arabia. That's why I'm thinking, man, Saudis must really be trying to get him right now. And he went, and apparently it wasn't authorized for him to travel to Saudi Arabia. I'm guessing, you know, obviously they don't want him ending up over there, so. Which I get it. Let's see how it's looking back in the cabin. Pretty good. There's the Florida coast down below us. They have a little bit of cloud cover right now. Technically, this weather is what's going on at night, or very, very early morning in Florida right now. But awesome. Well, once we get up to cruise, I'm going to start really digging into some of the current events in MLS, and we'll check out what the latest power rankings say about the teams, which power rankings are really kind of opinions, especially on MLSsoccer.com, but also what the actual standings say, which says a lot more even than the power rankings, in my opinion. Because I'll be honest, I do not agree with the power rankings all that often. Yes, Sean said yes, he was suspended. Messi was suspended. He was supposed to be at practice after PSG lost a game, and he was off doing something else. Lights Up Broadcasting Network. Jason, what's up? Thanks. Hey, thanks for hopping on board, Jason. Glad to have you here in the there's a jump seat view. Can't see much in the jump seat. See all the gauges, but glad to have you on board. Welcome. And Sean, as always, Giving a friendly hello. Thanks, Sean. Yeah, he got in trouble for, I don't know what's going on with that. Apparently Messi's father is his agent. I think I also read that. So, and that's kind of cool, I guess. They must have a pretty good relationship, for sure. Alright, I'm cracking open my bubbly, sparkling water. This stuff provides energy at all hours of the day. Gotta stay hydrated. That's kind of weird that GSX is still highlighted. I wonder if something's going on with... That was weird. I almost wonder if that was the problem. Yeah, so we're still going up the Florida coast. Looks like we're going to be going, getting near Jacksonville pretty soon. Let's go along. Coastal Airways catering, yeah. I know, Coastal Airways always has the, some good food. Sean's put together some really good menus, by the way. I'll have to... I believe Jason has shown some of those on his NHL charters, but some pretty impressive 34 for 35. Some pretty impressive food options here at Coastal Airways. So if you do charter a flight with Coastal, you're going to be taken care of. You can rest assured of that. Well, the other thing, this week it's getting kind of busy here with the charter schedule at Coastal. We're going to be having a few soccer charters this week. Orlando City SC is actually going to be, after we leave Montreal, they go back down to Fort Lauderdale, and then Monday fly from Fort Lauderdale up to Charlotte for a U.S. Open Cup game. And then Tuesday night is Charlotte right back to Fort Lauderdale. Or I'm not Fort Lauderdale. Forgive me. Orlando. So a lot of flying over the next few days here in the MD-83 with Orlando SC. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Jason's asking me, is Jack still on? No. Howard got off probably about 25-30 minutes ago. Let's take a look at the current SimAware map, kind of see what's going on. And there's not a whole lot going on right now, obviously, with it being 12:30 Central, 1:30 on the East Coast. It's kind of the usual centers that are on late night, like Minneapolis Center. They always do a great job of having coverage in the wee hours of the morning. Obviously, LA Center it's not nearly as late out in the West Coast as it is here in the East. And LA and Oakland typically have a pretty late coverage. And then we also have Albuquerque Center. That is the sitting dog boundaries, as you can see. It almost looks like a sitting dog when you look at Albuquerque Center. But they're on late tonight. And Honolulu Center was on for quite a while, which was kind of neat to see, but it looks like they have gotten off now. So things are starting to really quiet down here in the United States. And looks like we have Port-au-Prince is on in Haiti. I'm not sure I have ever flown into Haiti on Flight Simulator, but and I don't believe Coastal has any of those routes yet. Right, Jason? No Haiti yet? But who knows? Maybe we'll get there. But Poor Haiti is they're having a very tumultuous time in real life there in that country. So certainly wish them the best and peace. It is there's a lot of wild stuff going on there. All right, Sean says, since you'll get in early Wednesday morning, we have a hotel scheduled in Orlando since they have the Friday night flight again next week. Awesome. Thanks, Sean. That is going to save. Jason says, nope, no good airports in Flight Sim 2020. Yeah, that's not really shocking. I know apparently last year the U.S., I think it was the U.S. soccer team. No, it was not the U.S. soccer team. It was another soccer team had to take a trip to Haiti to play in a World Cup qualifier, and basically the team got surrounded by some motorcycle gangs. Let me see if I can find something about that. We have plenty of time to cover all these random soccer topics and Caribbean topics. But it was an event that occurred, and then they basically started playing the games in other locations, I think, and see if I can find it. I can't remember which country they were playing. But it was yeah, here it is. Belize's men's soccer team. I'm gonna. Actually, it's not gonna let me pull it up. Hold up, it's behind a paywall. But basically, the headline was that the Belize men's soccer team was held at Belize men's national soccer team held up by gunmen before. That's all I can read. Suspected gang members. Yeah, no, that's different. Yeah, it's not a good place to go and play. Visit unless you have to right now. It's a lot of unrest. Yeah, Sean, thanks for asking, Jason. Yeah, Andrew Green was asking how old this airplane is. I think obviously, Jason, you'd be the guy that would know the most about this tail number. I think you and Nate does a lot of. He definitely does a lot of. Actually, I'll have to start pump on. Turn that off. Select cruise over here. Need to do a fuel check really quickly. So VIAP, let's check at what we were supposed to have at VIAP fuel wise, and then we'll get into some of this discussion on the Major League Soccer season. VIAP, let's take a look at our paperwork. We'll be up here a little ways. At VIAP, we're planning to have 24,500 pounds of fuel. And right now we're projecting that we're going to have 25,400 pounds of fuel. So about 900 pounds ahead of schedule. So that's good. Awesome. And let me take this and get this over to cruise page. Let's check our pressurization out really quickly. Cabin's holding steady, looks good. Electrics, things looking good. Batteries doing what it should. It's not awesome. I think we have those showers below us. I don't want to pull up GSX. Navigraph. Let's check Navigraph really quickly. Yeah, Jason. Yeah, let me find it. Okay, cool, Jason. So, Andrew, your answer is on the way. Soon you will learn how old this particular aircraft is. So yeah, we're definitely over those showers that were reported with that A320 that was reporting the light rime ice, 6,000 feet. I guess they were flying into Savannah or one of these airports down in this area. Nice golf courses down below us as we head up towards Savannah and Hilton Head and that area. And then Beaufort is coming up. Paris Islands. All right, let's hop over into the or Jason has the answer for us. This aircraft was built March 26, 1996. So yeah, it's a fairly old aircraft. But younger than expect. Yeah, same for me, Sean. That is younger than I was expecting too. So but very, very cool. All right, there's VIAP, and just as we were projecting, we're at 25,450 pounds of fuel. So looking good. A little glimpse of the ocean down below. Jason, I hope the end of your flight went well. I didn't get to watch the landing. I'll have to go back and watch it again, but enjoyed what I did see of your stream. So I'm guessing everything went well with your flight. And the Florida Panthers are back down safely in Fort Lauderdale. Andrew says, England pretty quiet because of the coronation. You're talking about with people flying. Let's see who's flying on the VATSIM network in England right now. Let me pull that up for us in the internet browser. So we can see, worldwide, things are going to be firing up pretty soon over in Europe. Right now it looks like Reykjavik control is on. And you can see they have a wide range of territory that they cover from Greenland all the way into Iceland and a lot of that some of that oceanic airspace there. But Europe really gets hopping once the sun's up, which is going to be pretty soon. You can see there are already some. Budapest is up in Hungary right now. Jason says my approach was a dog's breakfast. All right. Well, I'm going to check it out later, so. Oh, that's cool, man. Well, I'm glad you must have survived. You must have made it down no problem, because you're. I think I got the ACARS notification, so get out of that. But very cool. But you can see there are a lot of events today out in Europe. All of these filled in red dots, those are special events that are occurring on the VATSIM network. For those of you that maybe don't use VATSIM as often. And Europe really gets popular. For whatever reason, flight simulation is very popular in Europe. And then also here in North America. Looks like we also have some activity down in South America. That's another place I'd love to get to go and spend some time. Johannesburg Oceanic is on right now, but nobody's flying in that area. And if you really want to fly over Antarctica, parts of Antarctica, looks like they would be the guys controlling you there. Colombo radar. And there with Sri Lanka. And wow, Korea has coverage right now. So, China control. And they actually do seem to get on fairly regularly, which is cool. Oh no, Jason, negative 52 feet per minute. Yeah, that is living on the edge. Because what is it, at 50? If you get softer than 50 feet per minute, you're having to pay for a soft landing inspection. So, yeah, you were cutting it close there. Cutting it close. All right, well, here we are with MLSsoccer.com. This is the place to visit if you're just wanting to get a really good overview of what's going on in Major League Soccer. And those are two legends in American coaching. I say definitely Bruce Arena more so than Bob Bradley, but Bob Bradley is a very famous coach in Major League Soccer. Some of you might know he won I believe he won the MLS Cup with the Chicago Fire in their first season back in maybe 1998. And Bruce Arena, of course, has won multiple trophies in Major League Soccer with multiple teams. And most notably his tenure with DC United and the LA Galaxy when Landon Donovan was just dominating the league during that time. And Bruce Arena coached the U.S. men's national team to their quarterfinal berth in the 2002 World Cup, where they lost to Germany, if I remember correctly. Bob Bradley coached in the 2010 South Africa World Cup with that amazing comeback at the end of the game with Landon Donovan again, who was the man of that era for U.S. soccer. And U.S. ended up losing to Ghana in the round of 16. No, it was the round of 16 in extra time. But two legendary coaches, one with New England now, Bob Bradley with Toronto. Let's see what's going on with the power rankings really quickly. Go Nashville FC. That's right, Andrew Green. I completely agree with you there. Nashville FC is also my favorite team, and I will once again be planning to go to the game later. I guess technically tonight against Chicago Fire. Let's see. I always have to kind of hunt around to find the power rankings because they come out with those early in the week. So by this point, there it is. By this point, sometimes it's getting a little farther down the website. All right, so here's the headline. MVP Power Rankings, LAFC's Dennis Bouanga overtakes Atlanta's Thiago Almada. So if some of y'all were riding along a little earlier in the season, you could see Thiago Almada was just one of the premier players in the league starting off. He played on the Argentinian national team alongside Leo Messi, where they won the World Cup over the winter. I guess it was a winter World Cup this year. I was wanting to say summer, but they played it in November, December. And he's a young guy in his early 20s, just absolutely incredible. Oh, this is all about players. Never mind. Look at the wrong thing. Well, we can look at this really quickly. MVP power rankings. So Jordan Morris with the Seattle Sounders, he has 14 points right now in this young season. That's a lot in soccer. Honestly, you definitely don't score as much in soccer as you do in hockey or any of those. Sean, Jason, going to bed. Safe flight. Thanks, Jason. You have a great evening too. And Sean, see ya. I'll see you around too. Thanks for all your help getting this flight set up. Really appreciate it. We still have a ways to go here, but talk some soccer for a minute to pass the time. Yeah, Jordan Morris, 14 points already. That's incredible for this early in the season. But like it says here in the first sentence, he has cooled off just a little bit. Thiago Almada is doing well. George Petrovic, I think he's the goalie. He's doing really well. Christian Espinoza is doing well, and Dennis Bouanga, who has scored in almost every game. I saw him play against, here's a clip against Nashville. He had a goal that tied up the game against Nashville and basically made sure that his team got at least a point playing on the road. And LAFC was basically playing their B team. They just put Bouanga in, he scores a goal, and they escape with a point. So he is playing really well. A game changer this year. Sean said, I might hang out 15 minutes or, I'm sorry, you're saying see ya to Jason. Okay, thanks, Sean. I thought you were saying see ya. Which I get it, it is late. It is late. We'll see. Okay, so let me see if I can find the actual team power rankings here. It's somewhere in here. Okay, here's a headline that I'm excited about. Sorry. Gotta be a fanboy for 1 second on my favorite team, Nashville SC. So this guy, Akailoba, Nashville SC had signed him for I forget how many millions of dollars. It was a record, yeah, club record transfer fee. They paid $6.8 million for this guy, and he played in 50 games, and he only scored a handful of goals. Like, he was supposed to be this really great striker. They transferred him from a Liga MX side in Mexico, and he was a flop, and it was eating up our payroll and salary cap. And then he was playing in Mazatlan this year on loan, and still counting against Nashville SC's salary cap and stuff. So thankfully they have reached a mutual contract termination. So Nashville can finally try to find some help to help Mukhtar score some more goals. So super thrilled about that. Maybe Leo Messi is going to be the guy they sign. Right, Sean? Right, Andrew? We'll see. I doubt it, but we'll see. Let's see if we can find... So this is what I'm saying. We're pretty late in the week now, so it's kind of hard to find the power rankings. So, oh, there it is. All right, so here's the power rankings after match day 10. Yep, Nashville handled Atlanta United. That's the truth. They still have Los Angeles Football Club at number 1. I would agree with that. And Los Angeles FC also played in the CONCACAF Champions League semifinals against Philadelphia Union and beat them. So Los Angeles Football Club is moving on to the CONCACAF Champions League finals against Leon from Mexico. And the winner of that will move on to a berth at the FIFA Club World Cup later this year. And I would love to play these videos, but last time I played these videos, I got flagged for potential copyright, so I'm not going to do it. I guess the computer's checking all the audio and everything else, and just can't. I thought you could show short clips and talk about things, but like with sports leagues and stuff, but you can't, so apparently not. We'll just look. New England Revolution at number 2. I know they looked really good when I saw them play against Nashville earlier in the year. That's Bruce Arena's team, and they are playing well. Seattle Sounders at number 3. That's where Jordan Morris is. He's been really helping to prop that team up, and also has been playing pretty well for the U.S. men's national team recently. FC Cincinnati, just a stout defense this year. It's really keeping them competitive. I think they're going to be losing some of their strikers, though, here pretty soon in the summer transfer window. I would imagine a couple of guys like Brenner, maybe Acosta are going to be heading over to Europe, maybe. But we'll see. They've been having pretty good seasons, good starts. And Brandon Vasquez also there at FC Cincinnati, who's really trying to make his case to be a starter, or at least on the bench, with the U.S. men's national team. And if he keeps up his current form, I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up making it into the Nations League roster for the U.S. men's national team. Philadelphia Union, looks like they moved up 4 spots. I would expect them to keep moving up, especially now that they're not having to play in the, they've been eliminated from the CONCACAF Champions League, and that means they'll have quite a few more days to rest midweek, and not having to travel to Central America is going to help too. Nashville SC, they moved up quite a bit last week after the big win against Atlanta United at home. It was an electric atmosphere. I was there, and Hani Mukhtar basically contributed to all 3 of Nashville's goals with just amazing assists and hustle. St. Louis SC, the brand new expansion team, still holding out here at number 7 in the power rankings. They moved down 3 slots, but they started to lose a few games, but that's going to happen, right? There's a lot of parity in the Major League Soccer, and let's check what's going on here with our fuel situation here. But Sean said, I actually saw Leon's team arrive from a flight once when I was in Mexico. It's pretty cool. There was actually a bunch of fans and a band at the airport. That's awesome. What sort of a band was it? Was it like they have brass and it's like a mariachi band, or? That's awesome. I know that the Mexican teams tend to have absolutely phenomenal support. So we sync up our get our heading bug. That's just where we're going right now. Pull the range out a bit. Looks like we're getting near Charleston, South Carolina. Now let's hop out the side of the aircraft, take a little look for a minute. Yep, clouds are starting to break up just a little bit, which is good. Like getting near Charleston. It looks like we have a little bit of a quartering tailwind right now, so that's nice. Ground speed's at 464. Let's take that. And fuel wise, right now we have 24,100. And we had 24.2 at J Ross. That's what we're showing in the from field. Yeah, let's see what we were planning to have in the release here really quickly. It's got important. Make sure 23.2. So wow, we're 1,000 pounds. We have 1,000 pounds extra fuel. So means we'll have to put as much on for our return trip. So hopefully the fuel is cheaper in Orlando than it is in Montreal. I do not know. Jason would have that information though. Alright, well everything's looking good up here. Take a quick glance at pressurization. Yep. Fuel temperature is still at 21 degrees Celsius. Or oil temperature actually, I'm sorry. And looking good. Alright, let's hop back to what we were doing with checking out our MLS soccer rankings. And Sean said, haha, sort of, I believe it was like bass drums and some brass. Awesome. Yeah, it's like it seems to be the standard soccer supporters section makeup in North America. We actually have a pretty raucous group that's at the Nashville SC games, and they were marching out of the stadium, still celebrating, playing their drums and trumpets. 45 minutes after the game had ended, there's like a park next to the stadium. They're all out there like dancing, and there were Atlanta United fans waiting on a bus with all these Nashville fans dancing to drums and celebrating a win. I was like, oh man, right in front of the Atlanta people waiting on the bus. But it was fun. All right, New York City FC, they have moved up quite a bit actually. They had a rough start to the season. Now you can see they're at number 8. One of the things is, and we'll see it in the standings, they are not losing games at home. And they play on a very unique field because they actually play on a baseball field because they don't have a stadium right now. They either play at Yankee Stadium or they play at Citi Field, the home of the Mets in New York City, which means that the field dimensions are very different from what most teams are used to playing on. It does allow them to have a really big home field advantage because they know where to force teams on that field and get them to mess up. And I saw that for sure when Nashville was playing in New York City at Citi Field. They got in some trouble. Atlanta United, they moved down 2 spots. Yeah, they're just kind of struggling right now. Their midfield looked rough. Would love to watch this clip. I've seen this clip. It's a really good clip. Talking about this one Atlanta player, they're basically saying he's just chasing dandelions. Like, what's this dude doing? Like, he didn't track his guy. He didn't get in the way. But anyways, I am always happy when Nashville beats Atlanta. But we'll move on. Columbus Crew, they're doing all right. Doing pretty well. I haven't gotten to see them play yet, so I can't say too much about them. San Jose Earthquakes, I've heard, are really good. They usually play pretty late at night, being a West Coast team, so don't get to watch those games as much. I'm usually out here flying with Coastal or already asleep. But apparently they're a pretty good team this year. Skyvector says $1.12 Canadian dollars per liter at the FBO we are at in Montreal. Okay. And how many liters are in a gallon? That's what I do not know that conversion off the top of my head. But we can find out right here. Whoops. How many liters are in a gallon? 3.78 liters in a 3.79 liters in a gallon. So $1.12 times $1.12 times 3.79 is 424 Canadian dollars a gallon. So maybe it would have been good to not have so much fuel on, but yeah, it's fine. I think we're making plenty of money here on this charter flight. All right, we'll move on here. We have FC Dallas at number 12. They have Jesus Ferreira, who's one of the premier strikers for the U.S. men's national team. Real game changer. They're moving up. DC United, what a big jump. Up 6 spots. They've been struggling the last few years in the league. Wayne Rooney is their coach, and they seem to be on a roll right now. And you can see here where I'm highlighting about how they have a tough stretch coming up. They're going to be playing their next 3 games against Cincinnati with that stout defense. Those 3 key strikers up front and midfielders up front with Vasquez and Brenner and Acosta. They got to play Nashville. Nashville's on a roll right now. And also Philadelphia, good team who is now going to be more fully rested. Houston Dynamo is kind of moving on. So Ben Olsen is the coach of Houston Dynamo. He was the former player for DC United and longtime DC United coach. I think he's going to get that team turned around and playing pretty well over the next few years. I don't know if this year's the year, but you can see they're just kind of middle of the pack here. Orlando City SC, that's who we're taking up here to Montreal. And they're having just kind of a so-so season. They've really underperformed at home so far, so maybe heading up to Montreal is going to be a good thing for them. I know Montreal they're probably the very bottom of the power rankings. Let's see. Nope, Sporting Kansas City is. But they're down here. Yeah, look. They're at 27. I think they actually won they beat Sporting Kansas City, which is, I guess, why Sporting Kansas City is the bottom, because Montreal is pretty bad, at least early in the season. So I would be shocked if Orlando City SC loses this game against Montreal. But as a Nashville fan, it wouldn't hurt my feelings. Anyways, Toronto FC moved up 4 spots. They actually just made a trade with Nashville SC a couple weeks ago. Toronto picked up forward CJ Sapong from Nashville FC in exchange for a defender, because Nashville's defensive depth is thin right now due to an injury of one of their backup defenders. CJ Sapong hadn't scored in almost a year in Nashville. He goes to Toronto FC and scores in his first game. Scores the game-winning goal for Toronto. So congrats to CJ Sapong. You can see there, you can watch it. A dream debut for CJ Sapong. Minnesota United, they're kind of free-falling right now. They had a really good start to the season. I hyped them up on this broadcast a few weeks ago, and then they promptly proceed to lose the next few games. But we'll see. Chicago Fire here at number 18. That's who Nashville's playing tomorrow night. I haven't watched them super closely this year. I'll get to see them up close tomorrow night, so I can probably give a better assessment of them next week when we have the next charter flight on a Friday night. That will be, I will plan to broadcast. Vancouver Whitecaps down at 19. They've been struggling for a few years. They sometimes squeak into the playoffs, but really haven't made too much noise. And it looks like that's going to continue this year. The Timbers, rabid fan base. They've won some surprising games this year. And if they can get in the playoffs, I think they will be dangerous. They're kind of a sleeper. And Real Salt Lake, can't really say anything about them other than they traded one of their forwards this last week, Miram. So we'll see how that trade works out for them. Let's take a quick break before we look at the cellar dwellers. Sean says, thank you, Sean. This is a nice topic change away from soccer for a minute. I just have to keep talking to keep myself away. Sean says, are there any particular trips you are looking forward to on the schedules? Sean, are you talking about with our line flying here at Coastal Airways or with our charters? I'll let you, because I do have an answer for both of those, honestly. Do have an answer for both of those items. Just let me pull up I'm going to pull up the charter schedule on my end just so I can see it. Oop. All right, Sean, I can tell you what I'm looking forward to in the month of May. And I would guess it's probably okay for me to show this schedule on the stream. It's not really, I mean, you could basically figure it out if you just went and looked at the sports team schedules. So I'm going to show it really quickly. Okay, yeah, you're asking for the charter schedule. Okay, yeah, definitely. So here's the schedule for the charters as of right now. And honestly, if I wasn't going to be on vacation, I would love to fly that Nashville flight. So that's the one I couldn't fly. Oh, man. But honestly, I think Montreal. I'm really excited about heading up to Montreal because I have never flown there in Flight Simulator. I've flown there in real life when I was flying for the airlines, and I enjoyed the city, had a good time in Montreal. So I am excited to fly up there. I think that's probably the destination I'm the most excited about this month, and thankfully we're getting to fly up there tonight, which is going to be really cool. Later on in the season, let me you know what? We're going to go really quickly through these cellar dwellers. Colorado, Miami, they're all horrible. Sorry, Austin. I'm surprised Austin's having such a horrible season, along with New York Red Bulls. Red Bulls are probably going to shake things up once the summer hits, because they'll move people from Europe over here, and they'll somehow squeak into the playoffs. Galaxy, Montreal, Charlotte, and Sporting Kansas City, who can cellar dollars. Well, let's look. I think, honestly, looking forward on the charter schedule for soccer, I'm really looking forward to the West Coast swing. I love West Coast flying. The scenery. I typically fly late at night, so there's usually a little more coverage out there just because it's not so late at night out in the west. So I'm really looking forward to some of those. Let's see, I'm going to try to get over to Orlando. Schedule for the year. Event dates and schedule. Here we go. No, I'm sorry. I just screwed up. Orlando City SC. So this is like the stub hub, I guess, but so they head out to Seattle in June, and I don't know, it was either Miami or yeah, it must be Inter Miami's going to LA. So I'd say either of those are the ones I'm really looking forward to. I think I should be able to fly that one or be in town for that one. So yeah, the West Coast swings, that's what I'm looking forward to. I haven't flown out west in a long time since I started here at Coastal, so looking forward to that. If I had to say my favorite flight I've flown so far on charters, it's kind of a tie between going to Cincinnati, Lunken Field. That was a really fun flight. And then also Houston Hobby. I enjoyed going out to Houston Hobby and checking out some of the Gulf of Mexico below and the oil rigs that were in there with the default scenery. So I had never gotten to see those. So that was a lot of fun. And that airport's kind of a neat airport to fly into. It looks like we're getting away from the coast for a little bit. I guess we're up in Carolina now, it looks like. So to the second part of your question, Sean. Let me pull up the map of where we're. I have to look. So I'm actually looking forward to flying into Dominica. I'm actually going to show you all really quickly what the landing is like going into Dominica, and also what's the other place? St. Lucia. So to fly into these destinations here at Coastal Airways, you actually have to do a special qualification flight and training in order to be able to fly. So I'm going to show you my recording that I had for part of that qualification. And you can see just how fun that approach is. So I'm going to play that for us really quickly here on the stream. Let me pull this up. So first we're going to watch the Dominica flight. And then we'll move into the other one. I'm going to take us to the back of the plane. We'll have a little seat back VIP experience here. So here we go. Let's watch this landing. Hi, this is John Bell. Welcome aboard. This is my Coastal Airways qualification for Dominica. We're on the left downwinds now, and autopilot is coming off. Auto throttles are coming off, and I'm just gonna hand fly it here on the profile for 2,000 feet, and we gotta stay within the 2 nautical mile ring, and we're set up for a flaps 40 landing. We've already gone through the before landing check, and yep. So we will begin this. So it's kind of weird because I'm talking in that video too, but it's a fun approach because you kind of have to follow this river and you fly over some coconut groves, and then you cut down. Now, coming up to the coconut groves here. I actually had to turn off the GIPWIZ terrain and warnings, otherwise you'd be getting yelled at this entire approach. Yep, well, I just said it there. Let me turn that volume down just so we're it's getting not. a little close to ref. Just want to keep that maneuvering speed. I'll turn that volume down just so that. So here we go over the coconut grove. It's not as weird. And around over down into the gully over here, and continue our approach toward runway 9er in Dominica. And I was actually quite shocked doing this approach at just how high the terrain is, really close to the runway, which you're going to see here in a bit. I had to kind of dive at the runway at the very end. Really close to 1,000 feet per minute, try to keep it as close to our stable. Because I mean, typically you don't want to be descending over 1,000 feet per minute when you're on an approach or you're technically unstable. But you can see you're just having to kind of fly down this valley into Dominica. I think this is definitely one of the destinations I am most looking forward to here at Coastal Airways. Good. Very challenging. Closer to 700 feet per minute. So right when I get over this terrain, look, we're going to start getting the JipWiz sink rate warnings. Here they come. It's like, oh, now I got to dive down. Here it comes. Do some vertical speed. And I slammed this one in. I started to float and I was like, I gotta get down. But really cool approach. Boom. Yep, so that's Dominica. And there we are. We'll turn that one off. Let's check out, I also want to show you the other one that I think is pretty cool is St. Lucia. So let's look at it. This St. Lucia qualification flight. And now manual control, we've done the full landing check. We are beginning our descent into St. Lucia, runway 27. We're on the right downwind right now. And enjoy. So this one is pretty cool. It almost reminds me a little bit of flying into Hilo, Hawaii. A little bit. It's more challenging than Hilo, but there's an approach to. Or what runway it is at Hilo. It's the east-facing runway, but where you just kind of follow the shoreline and the coast end, and just try to turn your final at an appropriate time. But this one, there's a little more terrain on short final, as you're gonna see here in just a minute. But beautiful approach. I wonder how often we'll actually be landing on this runway 27 at St. Lucia, because you'll see this is just kind of a crazy approach. I need to search to find. I'd like to watch a video of like the real life approach into this place, because you're just like skimming these buildings. I mean, it's crazy. It makes the expressway visual into LaGuardia look like nothing. Let's see, you're rolling out on the final at the last second with the runway, just due to the rising terrain that's just to the left of the runway course. And there's a graveyard right there, right off the runway. Very fitting. So. Yeah, that's St. Lucia. But I still think Dominica's the approach I look the most forward to shooting. I do plan to stream that whenever whenever I get to go down there. So cool. Well, that is but that's probably the destination I'm most looking forward to, Sean. On the line flying, I really look forward to getting out into the Caribbean and checking that stuff out. Also, you said there is Seattle, LA, and Salt Lake, I think, out west for the charters. Awesome. And can't remember if you mentioned all those. I did not. But I do look forward to those as well, because especially the ones that are going all the way out to west, because that's going to be a long flight. But I look forward to seeing the mountains again, and maybe even getting to fly on Pilot Edge a little bit. I always loved Pilot Edge air traffic control service, and haven't gotten to use them much lately, so look forward to getting back in the groove with that again and putting my subscription to a little more use. I anticipate, if possible, if we do end up moving out west here at Coastal with some hubs and other things, that's probably where I'm going to be moving my the primary amount of my flying if I have the choice, because I love flying in the west. But I'll tell you, this Caribbean flying looks like it might just get me hooked, though, for sure. All right, well, let's take a look at the map really quickly. Let's see where we are on our flight up to Montreal. This is a relatively long route for as far as the charters go. We are currently definitely into North Carolina, and Goldsboro, North Carolina, it looks like, is off of our left wing. So we're out to the southeast of Raleigh-Durham. And Norfolk's not too far away for us now. That's one of our destinations that we fly to here at Coastal Airways. That's a fun approach. Enjoy flying into Norfolk. Let's see, Sean said Salt Lake City is going to have some new scenery too. Awesome. Hopefully it is out before the trip. Yeah, because I had purchased a payware for Salt Lake, and I know that they're building a new terminal, I think, out there. So Jason would be able to say for sure. He knows more about that airport. But yeah, the scenery's kind of been in limbo lately. But figure that out. Let's see here. Get a quick view of the outside of the aircraft. Looks like we definitely moved a little further inland at this point in the flight, and I can still see the ocean out there. Ways out there. Well, this will do a quick fuel check. Make sure I'm keeping tabs on what's going on here with the aircraft. Our next fix is YISO, and we are projecting to have 21,600 pounds of fuel at YISO. Let's see what our release had us planned at. Earlier we were 1,000 pounds. We had 1,000 pounds of extra fuel. And there's YISO. 20,400. We're showing 21.6, so now 1,200 pounds of extra fuel. But thankfully, with the light payload, we are not going to be getting anywhere close to reaching our max landing weight. So we should be in good shape. Good shape for our landing here. All right, I'm going to turn off the CFB just so we don't drain the entire battery. Here we go. Yeah, let's hop out. Let's look at the standings in MLS right now. Except I turned it off. All right, MLSsoccer.com. Let's take a look at the standings. I'll pull it up in the. All right, here's the current standings in the league. You see, New England and Cincinnati tied at 21 points apiece. So, surprisingly, Cincinnati's undefeated at home. Cincinnati had just a horrible start to their time in MLS, but they're coming along now. Atlanta United still holding on to that third place spot after getting thrashed by Nashville last week, but Nashville's kind of moving up. But look at this. I mean, it's 11 points. You're out of the playoffs. You get 3 points for a win. So I mean, it's anybody's season still. There's a 10-point difference between the top and just outside the playoffs, but it's really still anybody's season. For our teams, Orlando that we transport in Miami, you can see they're still in the hunt. You just get on a little bit of a run and you're in good shape. Out west, I mean, this is no surprise. Sporting Kansas City, worst team in the entire league. They only have 3 points, and those 3 points came from 3 ties, 3 draws, 0 wins. They've only scored 3 goals 10 games into the season. So rough start for Sporting Kansas City. And their coach, Peter Vermees, was just signed to a contract extension before this season. So things not looking good there. I don't know how they're going to deal with that, but those are the current standings. Let's see who the leaders are in goals and assists. Still Jordan Morris for the goals. Danny Boanga is right behind him. And assists, you have Gazdag at Philadelphia. And clean sheets, there's Joe Willis from Nashville SC. He's been lights out for Nashville. In St. Louis, the expansion team has the most goals of any other team in the league. So that means their fans are getting to watch some exciting games for sure. Let's see if they have anything interesting here on the news page. Player availability report. Let's see what they're. Okay, it's showing who's in and out. Yeah, now Brad Guzan, the former U.S. men's national team, kind of backup keeper. He's into MCL injuries, so I think he's out for most of the season now, unfortunately, for Atlanta. And this is the defender in Nashville. Nashville had traded to get him Raleigh Galaxy before the season began to add some depth, but then it turned out he was injured, his Achilles, and is out for the entire season, which is why Nashville made that trade, CJ Sapong to Toronto, so that Nashville could get a backup defender. All right, the other thing with soccer is U.S. Open Cup. That's being played. The next round is being played this week, which is the charter we'll be doing for Orlando City SC up to Charlotte a little bit later on this week. So I guess it'll be a Monday night departure and a Tuesday night return. But here's the schedule. So Tuesday night we have Inter Miami. They're actually playing. They're staying down in Fort Lauderdale because if they'd been traveling, we would have had an issue with the hockey going on and still doing the soccer charters. But Miami's playing minor league side Charleston Battery in Fort Lauderdale, and then Charlotte FC, the MLS side, is playing Orlando City. Except they're not playing at the football stadium in Charlotte. They're actually going to the Mecklenburg County Sportsplex in Matthews, North Carolina, wherever that is. But you can see we still have a few of the minor league teams in the tournament. Obviously, it's pretty much dominated by MLS sides at this point. I think we're in the round of 32 now. But the Pittsburgh Riverhounds are still in. Sacramento Republic, Monterey Bay, Loudoun United. Looks like we still have at least, well, this is the last remaining matchup where it's two minor league teams, but Birmingham Legion versus Memphis 901. They'll be playing in Birmingham on Wednesday night. There's Nashville playing FC Dallas Wednesday here at Geodis Park in Nashville, Tennessee. And yeah, we'll see. I'll be curious to see if Orlando City and Miami can win their games and continue to advance, because that'll bring us some additional charter opportunities. And Sean, that honestly, that could be an extra opportunity where we have charters out west. So who knows? I'm kind of hoping that happens. But this tournament tends to be pretty regional in the first few rounds, and then it isn't until you get to the semifinals, you know, and finals that you'll be traveling to another region of the country. So I'm guessing it'll be late in the summer when we maybe have the really long flights for this tournament, and hopefully we'll have some more guys available to fly charters by that point too. So have more options. But yep, definitely looking forward to the West Coast charters. Andrew Green said, I am just lurking. Like, are you just lurking in the background of the stream, or are you actually lurking right now? And what do you mean by that, Andrew? Just kind of checking in every now and then? I'm going to mute my mic for a minute in there. There we go. Well, let's do a quick update. Let's figure out where we are located. I think we're still here in... We gotta be getting relatively close to Virginia Beach now. So I actually had a flight to fly before this flight to get the aircraft, the empty aircraft from Fort Lauderdale up to Orlando. So that's a pretty short flight. I was considering trying to stream it because there's almost full ATC coverage at the time, which was a lot of fun. But I just never know when I'm gonna stream that particular leg, and so getting quite a few flight hours in tonight, which is good. Kind of making up for I haven't been flying much during the week since picking up the MLS charters, and get most of my flying in on the front and back end of the week, flying the Mad Dogs, which are a lot of fun to fly. Also, would have been fitting to be flying this yesterday with it being May the 4th and having Yoda in here with his Fly You Must sticker staring at the captain, the flight tech. Andrew, you said yes. Yeah, just kind of lurking around, checking out the stream every now and then. Absolutely. Well, that's perfectly fine, man. It's getting pretty late here on the East Coast for sure. Sean, we will have a couple of flights next month where Miami and Orlando will both be away, so more charter pilots will be good. Yeah, I think Nate's getting pretty close to his 100 hours and being able to submit the training flights for the Mad Dog. So hopefully, I'm hoping we'll get Nate on here soon, but that'll be up to him and the guys in the training department, making sure he's finishes everything you gotta finish on the Mad Dog. I do know for a fact he's been working on it, so I would anticipate him hopefully being ready and done by the time those charters come around. I'm guessing at least we're not gonna have the if it's in late June, then the Stanley Cup will probably have been awarded by that point, so no more hockey charters maybe, but we will see. Man, it's pretty cloudy along this route so far. I'm gonna pull up the aviation weather center. Let's check out the satellite view really quickly. It's kind of surprising just how cloudy it has been. It looks like just going through Virginia, it's going to be cloudy. Let's see if I can get the infrared satellites. Oh, there's the flight I flew to Minneapolis a few weeks ago. That was a fun flight. It was also a pretty long one. Yeah, it looks like we flew out of, yeah, that was Orlando SC. Whew. There's a bad storm out there in Nebraska right now. Look at that thing bowing out. Wow. Yeah, we don't get to experience too much of the wild Midwestern weather right now at Coastal, but I'm guessing that's going to be changing here pretty soon. I had to take a guess. Yeah, it looks like definitely just some cloud cover up basically through Virginia, and then it won't be as widespread till we're getting a little bit closer to Montreal. Or actually, it's past Montreal where the cloud cover is. That's up toward Quebec City and oh, very cool. Looks like Saranac Lake is fogging in now. Temperature and dew point are converging at -1 and -2. So fog is starting to set in areas. There's also here in southern New York that's starting to occur, and also along the Atlantic coast. Atlantic City is getting fogged in. So we'll need to keep that in mind if we do have to divert. But that's to be expected at this hour of the day. Even though it's showing daylight outside in the sim, it is about 2 or 3 in the morning on the East Coast in the real world. So the fog is definitely starting to set in. Sean, you said he can maybe pick up that trip while you are on vacation to Nashville. Yeah, hopefully, hopefully Nate can get the training knocked out ASAP. And yep, that'd be awesome if he is available to fly that trip for sure. Look at this. This is kind of interesting. I'll hop outside the aircraft, but you can see it's clouds are socked in inland and then cleared up as we get out to the coast there. So that's cool. But we're definitely, yep, we're getting to the end of the thick cloud cover. Which is encouraging. So I can show you, let's take a look at this really quickly. Part of the training you get to do in the Mad Dog when you get checked out in it before you fly the charter flights is the some upset recovery training and performing stalls in the aircraft. And this airplane is mean if you stall it for sure. And I think I have a video of some of the stalls and other things here on my YouTube channel. Let me pull that up, because it was quite an experience. I really enjoyed getting to do it. Let's see if I can find a good one here. Yeah, here we go. Here, let's watch it. Here we go. Check out the stall. Oh, look at that secondary stall there. You see that? This thing could get ugly. Yeah, it's just an example of. So if you're low to the ground in some of these maneuvers, that's why you're toast. And you really gotta know these speeds for what, like clean maneuvering speed as you're coming into approach to land, as you're, I mean, it's still critical on the departure, but obviously coming into land, I mean, you stall this thing on short final or under 1,000 feet, good luck. If you can recover and survive, then. Alright, here I am trying a landing stall. For this flight, I was just out over the Everglades. Just checking out the capabilities of the Mad Dog. Full flaps. Alright, let's see here. Takes a little while to, let me see if I can fast forward a little bit. It takes a little while to stall the plane. Like, you have to actually try. See, I'm pulling back here, trying to get the thing to stall. We're at 100 knots. But once it goes, it goes. Watch this. Here it goes. Boom. So get that knife edge, get that angle of attack lowered. And we're flying again, but we lost a couple thousand feet just like that. Let me see if I can find another. I think I just did some unusual attitudes at the beginning, which are fun. Alright, another one. Typically just close my eyes and just start yanking on the control yoke and then open them and see where I am. So that's pretty much points straight up. You open your eyes and try to recover. Alright, I'll turn that off. I know that gets annoying, all those warning lights, but you get the point. This thing is ugly if it stalls. Ugly, ugly, ugly. Mean, mean, mean airplane to stall. So you have to respect your speeds. Keep the wings flying. But I think Nate's going to enjoy the training, especially the upset recovery, the stall training. Looks like we passed Norfolk now. That's good. Yep, you can see that fog setting in down below us. All right. And you can say, I am glad I am not on that flight in real life. Yeah, that would not be fun. I think you would definitely be feeling the forces on that thing. And thankfully, I've only been in a simulator like practicing stalls with like an airline jet, transport category jet like these. I've never actually experienced a legitimate stall. 'Cause, I mean, they put so many safeguards in place with the procedures and with the aircraft to try to prevent you from having an actual stall where the wing just like loses lift like that. You can see how the airplane will just snap toward that wing that lost lift. That's a stall right there. No lift is being produced on at least one of the wings, and it just starts dropping like a rock. But you train for it. We train for it here at Coastal, and you definitely train. All the pilots you're riding with in real life are training for it too. Can you see the Navy base at Norfolk? You can, yes. Looks like, let me, I believe we're already past it. It looked like it was in clouds, but when we do fly there, and I've flown there here in the simulator with Coastal Airways, and you definitely can see the Navy base. You can see some of the ships when you're coming into land. Yeah, we're north of Norfolk now in Virginia Beach, but yes, you can see it. And hopefully it'll be clear enough to where we can see New York City. We're flying over it here in a few minutes. So we're heading up the Delaware coast now. So we have out there. State of Delaware. Maryland too. And like we were saying, we're briefing the flights. I think we're just kind of skirting along the border of Massachusetts here as we head north. Let's see here. Yeah, we have Jersey, New York, Go right by Burlington, Vermont. So this is gonna be kind of cool. We'll get to see some neat scenery on the way in to Montreal for sure. Awesome. Well, hope y'all are doing well. Those of you tuning into the stream, for some of you, might be on the other side of the world, so it's the middle of the day. But those of us here in the East Coast, it is early in the morning or late at night, however you want to look at it. I'm going to head to the galley really quickly and get one more bubbly. So I'll be right back. I'll leave you with this wing view looking to the west as we're flying over Delaware and Maryland off the left wing there. Be right back in about 25 seconds. All right, I'm back and got the drink from the galley ready to roll. And so one thing I cannot wait until we have is shared cockpit in the Mad Dog. I think that would be a lot of fun because there's so much to do in this cockpit. It's definitely made for two pilots, and I'm guessing we probably will have it here in the near future, and we'll definitely have to try it out here at Coastal Airways. Since we have a handful of pilots who are trained, ready to fly this aircraft with standardized procedures. But look forward to trying that out here in the near future. Well, one other, let's see if I have any other did want to show, let's take a look at what's going on in the NHL right now, because we do, in our charter department here at Coastal Airways, we also take the Florida Panthers to their games, and they are still in the playoffs, and they're actually doing really well. They're up 2-0 over the Toronto Maple Leafs, which Jason, our CEO here at Coastal, was flying earlier this evening on his stream, taking the Florida Panthers from Toronto back down to Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And they are, as you can see right up here, up 2-0 in the series against Toronto. They have just been coming on strong after beating Boston in 7 games in the opening round of the NHL playoffs. Tonight, which was the 6th, looks like there was only one game. I'm sorry, the 5th. There was only one game. Carolina and the New Jersey Devils. Carolina thrashed them. Wow, 6-1. So Carolina is also up 2-0 in their series. And but we'll have to see. I'm definitely rooting for the Florida Panthers at this point in the playoffs, and they seem to be a pretty exciting team that's starting to click at just the right time. So it's going to be exciting. Well, we had just passed a fix. Let's see, we passed, for the progress page, will say this. From Confer, we had a fuel load of 19,300 pounds when we passed there. Let's check it out on our EFB, what we're supposed to have. It seems like we're gaining 100 pounds every couple of fixes at this point. So we're pretty fuel efficient. So we're supposed to have 17,800 pounds of fuel. We had 19,300, so we're what? 1,500 pounds of extra fuel at this point. So pretty crazy. Just gonna zoom in on the range here. So we are getting near, there's Dover. Dover, Delaware is what, about 30 miles away now. Here's the Cape Henlopen State Park in Delaware. This is where you can camp. It's an interesting location. And it's getting foggy down there. Typically when Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 is modeling fog, when you're up above it quite a ways, it'll kind of look a little bit like smog or something. And in the real world, a lot of times it is deceptive. You'll be up above fog and you can see through it no problem. But once you get down into it, it's blinding. You can't see anything. So you can, especially flying a small little Cessna around and at night, you can get yourself in trouble sometimes. Especially if you're not trained in instrument flying, and it's very disorienting if you're not trained and used to relying on solely your instruments while you're flying. And you find yourself inadvertently in instrument meteorological conditions. All right, there we go. Really good view of the coast there out of the window. Take a quick picture. Cape Henlopen State Park. I actually had the opportunity to camp there one time. And it was a lot of fun. There are some old World War II bunkers and other things out here in the state park. And there's actually a disc golf course out in some of these sandy areas. So it was kind of like beach disc golf, which was a lot of fun. It's kind of hard to get to Delaware, but wanted to visit it at the time. I was living in Virginia, Northern Virginia, and just part of like just trying to get to every U.S. state if possible. So it's like, this might be my only chance to go to Delaware. So that's why my wife and I went out to Cape Henlopen State Park and had a great time. So if you happen to find yourself in Delaware, I would recommend stopping by that area. And it's kind of interesting to stand on the end, and there's the ocean, and there's the bay. I don't remember being able to see New Jersey on the other side, but I think it was kind of hazy that day. Well, hope y'all are hanging in there, doing all right. If you're still on here watching. If you're tuning in later on, thank you. Thank you for watching the video. Obviously, it's just a late night live stream. We did get started about a little bit later than I had initially planned, but as I was telling Jason on his stream, I chalked it up to crew delay. Just trying to, my daughter was trying to fall asleep, so I was helping her. Just staying with her till she did fall asleep, so like I said, just put it down as a crew delay. She was our little first officer last week, if you remember. At 1 a.m. she walked in while I was simming and quite frankly freaked me out. I was like, who is touching me? Like, I felt this tapping on my leg when I was, you know, at 1 in the morning. You're like, what in the world? And it was my daughter. So I was like, okay, that's all right. But, you know, you're not expecting it. It's kind of freaky. Sean says, how far are you from New York City? Good question. Let's see. I think this will tell us. I'm just going to put in JFK here. It says we're 108 nautical miles from Kennedy. So that's not going to take too long, because we're clipping along right now at 415 knots. So you know what, like probably like 15, 20 minutes from now, 20 minutes from now we'll be there. Not too long. Not too long. Yeah, I intentionally chose this route, Sean, because let's see, we got a master caution, center fuel, low pressure. Yep, we're out of fuel in the center tank, so I'm going to turn the center pumps off. There we go. Awesome. But I was going to say, I intentionally chose this route because it went over New York City and past Burlington, Vermont, which I think is another awesome location which to fly into. And honestly, there's only about a 10-mile difference between this route and some of the other routes that were maybe a little further inland. But flying over New York City at 35,000 feet sounded pretty cool to me. So I'm definitely planning to try to snap a few screenshots when we get to that point. And hopefully my computer will hang in there, because it's being kind of weird tonight for some reason. Being kind of stuttery. Got more evidence of fog down below. Kind of wonder what the latest forecast in Montreal is. Looks like, here, I'll pull it up on the screen. Look at it together here. Let's type in, go to METARs. And Montreal right now is, yeah, it's looking good. It's not looking like we're going to have a fog problem, because there's a little bit of wind. Very light though. Still clear skies, 50 miles visibility, but there's a 5-degree spread between the temperature and dew points, so that should help. Sean said, I might be asleep by then. I was going to try to hold off. Yeah, I got you, Sean. Yeah, I'm pretty tired too, actually. But gotta keep going. Andrew, I know you're not shocked by the fact that I'm sleepy right now, because Andrew's one of my friends, and sometimes we game and play some other games, and I'll just fall asleep playing them. But for whatever reason, I can usually stay awake playing Flight Sim. I'm guessing part of it is, I guess I was, hardwired to not fall asleep when I was flying these things for real. But I'll be honest, there's some days where you really gotta fight it. It's so important to get that proper rest, and if you are feeling really tired, to get yourself off the trip, because you definitely don't want to compromise safety. But it's looking good in Montreal. So, weather is holding up. Sean, just to give you a better idea of where we are right now, pull up the Navigraph map. As far as the overall trip goes, it looks like we're definitely over halfway, thankfully. So Atlantic City is off the right wingtip right now. So let's go see if we can see that out the back. Oh, it's foggy. So nope, can't see it. But Atlantic City's down there somewhere. I think I can see some buildings just behind the wing a little bit. Back out here, but yeah, Atlantic City's up there. Who knows, maybe we'll find coastal in Atlantic City. No telling. I have no idea one way or another, but that's good right there. Very light winds for this flight level, 35,000 feet, and just 36 knots. Very slight quartering headwind, so just we're not having to fight a lot of wind. Well, did any of you in the chat have any questions or any? Is there anything anyone would like to see here on the aircraft? Let me know. I'm guessing at this hour of the night, it's probably mostly people that have seen the airplane before, or been tuning into one of these streams. But this is a really cool aircraft. I would definitely recommend it if you like flying transport category airplanes. It's one of the better ones that's available for Microsoft Flight Simulator, in my opinion. And I definitely do not regret the purchase. And Coastal Airways, if you do like the Mad Dog, if you love the MD-80 family, Coastal Airways does have a great opportunity for you to get to fly those to some unique destinations. As Sean, who is our charter manager, he does an outstanding job preparing the trips. So if you're interested, please visit flycoastalairways.com, and I believe you can submit an application right now. I believe that the window is open, and get on the wait list, and when there's an opportunity, our team, the management team, will get you an interview and a sim checkout and get you started on the process. Sean, you said, have you ever flown the Cessna 208 in the sim? Yes, I have. I certainly have flown the Cessna 208. I actually got the black, I think it's called the black box, the mod that makes it a little more realistic, and I absolutely love it. So I have Air Hauler 2, which is an add-on for Flight Sim. Many, if you're already aware of it, forgive me, but for those who aren't aware, I'll briefly explain it. Air Hauler 2 basically lets you create your own airline, or just fly little, or fly people to kind of on demand. And I had a Cessna 208 that I was using in that around the Hawaiian Islands. It's a really cool airplane. But how about you, Sean? What aircraft do you like to fly the most here in Flight Sim 2020? Is the Cessna 208 one of those? So I say yes, I just picked it up yesterday and flew from Key West to Fort Lauderdale. Awesome. That's a cool flight. And I feel like with those high wings on the Cessna 208, it's great for doing some sightseeing, you know, and I actually had the VR support here in Flight Sim 2020 now too. It's a lot of fun to hop in the Cessna 208 in VR and just yeah, I love heading in 208 out to the Hawaiian Islands and doing some sightseeing too. But Key West to Fort Lauderdale, that sounds like a great flight. I might have to check that out. Try that one of my free time flights in the coming weeks. Great suggestion. Well, good news, Sean. I'm on the 40 nautical mile range, and JFK is now well within view. So it's coming up on only 30 nautical miles to go. You know, we're covering basically a mile every 7 seconds or so. But it's not going to be long. Looks like there's a little bit of cloud cover, but looks like we should still be able to get a view of the city. Which I feel like I've never really gotten to be this high above the city in the sim. I feel like we're usually flying in there. And one of our original routes here at Coastal was Miami up to LaGuardia before continuing on to Bar Harbor in Maine. And so typically we're pretty low when we're at this point of the flight. Andrew said, what is a good basic flight in order to learn while flying? Honestly, I mean, it depends on the airplane you're wanting to fly, but something that's only going to take, I think, 20 to 30 minutes, because you'll get to go through all the different phases of flight, from startup to taxi to takeoff to climb to cruise, and then your descent, approach, landing, taxi, and shutdown. So if you can get as much repetition in those as possible, it's going to help you learn it quickly. So obviously, depending on how fast the airplane is, the distance of that flight is going to change. But I think if you can find a flight that's about 30 minutes long, or definitely under an hour long, you're going to get that repetition in. So for like a Cessna, maybe you just fly from reference point. You might know it would be like Columbia, Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee. You know, it's like a 30-minute flight. Or out in the Hawaiian Islands, you might fly from Lanai to Kahului in Maui, like a 30-minute flight. And I know when I'm trying to learn one of these jet aircraft, I typically go out to the Hawaiian Islands because it's beautiful scenery, first off, and second off, it takes about 30 minutes. You can fly most places. All right, here we are. New York City is quickly approaching below us now. And, oops, get back over here. So there's Manhattan. Kennedy Airport is going to be passing right underneath us soon. And, sorry about this. Definitely get a picture of this. It's pretty cool. Yep, so there's John F. Kennedy International Airport down below us. Long Island just continues out that way. Very cool. Let's get a view from the cockpit here. A great bird's eye view of Manhattan. Kind of see some of the skyscrapers popping up there as I zoom in. Central Park out there. Here comes a view of the. That's cool. Black Square King Air looks cool too. Yeah, I agree with that, Sean. I'm gonna check that out. And they have the Baron now and the Bonanza. There's Kennedy International Airport down below us. The racetrack, the horse racetrack down there. LaGuardia National Airport, Rikers Island. But pretty cool to get to see New York City from 35,000 feet. Very cool. The screenshots, yeah, I'm trying to take some screenshots. I'll post them on the Discord, Sean, for sure. All right. Well, cool. So we're now moving into the northern realm of this trip up to Montreal, and I'm excited about this. Like I was telling you, this is the charter of May that I was looking forward to more than the most. I look forward to all of them. I really enjoy doing the charter flying, but heading up to Montreal is cool because it is a neat city. And there's some, from what I remember, there's a pretty cool little, like a hill that's visible from the airport. Just very prominent. Alright, so we're on our way to Cambridge now, 127 nautical miles. That's just north of Albany, New York. And yeah, we're getting onto the home stretch now. Top of descent's only 183 nautical miles away, so we're making really good progress here. Projecting to get to Montreal at 2010 Zulu here in the sim, so that's only 40 minutes from now. So really starting to get into the tail end of this flight. And yeah, I'll definitely post those screenshots, Sean, in the Coastal Airways Discord for us. At least the ones that look worthy of being in the Discord, so I'll check them out a little later. I'm looking through the file right now where the screenshots went to see if I can catch a glimpse of them, see what they look like, but don't quite see them yet. So hopefully it saved them like it should. Sometimes, okay, I think I found it. Sometimes it puts them in a weird spot. I have the Cape Henlopen off the wing. And whoops. Cool. Yep, I do have them, Sean. So I'll put them in the Discord later. And quite honestly, one or two of them might end up being a thumbnail for a future charter flight here in the Mad Dog. So that'll be fun. Sean said, yes, I saw the Baron and the Bonanza. I just looked and they have a bundle you can get for those. Awesome. Yeah, next time I've saved up for buying some more aircraft in the sim. It sounds like the one I'll probably look at getting. Unless the 757 comes out first. Keep hoping for that one. So look at this, our wind now just as forecast. It's down to just 14 knots here at 35,000 feet. That is extremely light for this altitude. But definitely a sign that we're starting to get into the summer months. The jet stream heads a little further north. Calmer winds prevail up at altitude in the continental United States this time of year. Well, I guess I should look at let's check out the latest weather in Montreal. Like I said, the winds are still out of the south. I think we're gonna plan to land 24 left. I'm actually gonna write down this weather though, because this is gonna be the current weather when we begin our approach. Or at least we're briefing it. So winds are 200 at 3 knots, 15 miles of visibility, a few clouds at 12,000 feet. The temperature is 10 degrees Celsius, dew point is 5, altimeter is 30.21, and we'll be planning to land only 24 left. Let's take a look at SimAware really quickly. We'll just see if Montreal Center is still off. Yes, they are. They actually have an event later today, it looks like, from 6 this evening, Central Time. They have Honkapalooza, the ultimate toga party. Okay. Looks like the Shanwick and Gander Center are on right now for those that are doing transatlantic flying overnight, which is very cool. I'm guessing maybe they're on also for some of the European crowd that's now waking up. You can see it's becoming a little more lively over in Europe since the sun is up over there now in most places. Looks like Amsterdam radar is up and operating. London Gatwick Airport is controlled, ready to go, along with Baden, Germany, Zurich, Switzerland, and down in Greece, looks like Athena radar is on. So very cool. And we're starting to see Australia is definitely awake. And one of our pilots, Jason, he was out in Australia and he hopped on last week on the stream, and I think it was 2 in the afternoon where he was. It was like 2 in the morning here. So now it makes sense. Everybody's up and enjoying their Saturday afternoon out there in Australia right now. Do a little bit of flying on VATSIM. See what else we have here. Kuala Lumpur. They're on, and got a lot of coverage right now in the Indian Ocean, actually, which is kind of surprising, but that's cool. I guess doesn't look like there's really Looks like there's an event planned for later today from Mumbai to Seychelles that people can participate in. But honestly, like that's one of the cool things of VATSIM is it's free, and there are like, events all over the world, generally by people that are local to that country or that area, and you get to you can kind of explore the world by going to all the different events, and you'll be flying with a lot of pilots at an event with fully staffed local controllers a lot of times. So they'll have the accent, they'll be speaking English, but they'll have the accent just like in real life, which is really cool to get to experience. All right, let's see here. Starting to see a little bit of rain out there. That means we're getting closer to Albany, New York. Albany. Here down in Georgia. Albany, Georgia. We're going to New York. Sorry, it's getting late. Wonder what this line is that's showing up in the northwest quadrant of the navigation display right now. Yeah, we'll just have to keep an eye on the flight management computer, make sure it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. I am going to go ahead and, let's see, we have 67 miles so we get to Cambridge. I am going to go ahead and enter in the ILS to 24 left, just so it's ready to roll. Now we're still going to Cambridge. Cool. I'm going to execute that. Awesome. We'll verify the legs here in just a minute. Looks like it's really foggy down below here. So all those potential emergency airport options we had when we were briefing the flight in Orlando, they have suddenly become not as intriguing because fog is settling in. Guess I should check our pressurization. Looks like it's doing really well. The differential pressure is about 7.8. The cabin altitude right now, if you're sitting in the cabin, it's the same as being in the standard 7,200 feet above sea level. And the rate climb or descent of the cabin's holding pretty steady around 0, which is good. Check our electrics really quickly. All looking good. Awesome. Well, Sean, if you're feeling ambitious, you can fly that Grand Caravan from Orlando up to Montreal. It'll just take you a day and a half, you know. It's a long flight. It's fun. Alright, it's probably time to go ahead and start running some performance numbers since we're about 80 miles from our top of descent into Montreal. So we'll switch this over to landing. So we can enter the parameters here. So Charlie Uniform, or Yankee Uniform Lima is the airport identifier. We're going to be landing 24 left. Here we go. Flaps are going to be at 40. The wind, like we looked at earlier, is 200 at 3. Altimeter's up at 3021. So pretty high pressure. Oops, didn't get the decimal in there. Let's try it again. 3021. Air temperature's at 10 degrees Celsius. And we'll do medium on the auto brakes. I'm going to go ahead and set that in, just so it's where it needs to be. And we got found out our landing weight. So I have our zero fuel weight down. I'm just going to look at what's the fuel that we're projected to have when we land. It's 14,000 pounds. And our zero fuel weight is at 102,400. So that's a landing weight of 116,400 pounds. All right. We'll get our landing speed card ready. So we go, yep, that's the one we need, 117,000 pounds. That'll have our maneuvering speeds and other things on it. And we can go ahead and put 116,400 for our landing weight here in the electronic flight bag, so we can calculate our landing performance. All right, here we go. So lane disregard, or approach VREF at 40, flaps 40 is going to be 131 knots, and I'm going to add 5 to that, so it's going to be 136, and auto brakes are going to be at medium. All set. Okay, cool. So we're set with that. Get our speed bug set here on the speed tape. Awesome. Like we said, let's make sure we know that what these bugs are set for. So 220 knots is our maneuvering speed with the flaps up. Sean's laughing there. Yeah. Oh man, maneuver speed with the flaps up. Flaps at 0, the slats out. It's 174 knots, which we do see there with the second little tab here. Maneuvering speed with the flaps at 15, 151, yep. And then VREF at 40, flaps 40 is 131. All right, cool. That all matches up. Let's pull up the approach plate for runway 2 for the ILS at 24 left into Montreal. See what it looks like. So, 24 left, ILS, there we go. So I'm going to get it set up, and then we'll be able to verify, or brief and verify all the legs. So 110.5 is going to be our localizer frequency. Let's go ahead and get that set in here. With a final approach course of 237. So we'll set that in our course window. Captain's side, also on the first officer's side. And 110.5 over on the first officer's side. Save big, course is 237. Oops, went past it. There we go, 237. Minimums, ILS DME, 200 feet above ground level. So we'll put for the radar, altimeter, precision height, just for reference, and then it's 318 feet above sea level. So I'll put this bug at 318 on the altimeter. There we go. Awesome. Alright, so what we'll do is we'll start with the Carter 4 arrival for only 2-4 left. So here pretty soon after Cambridge and Jetsu, we go to Peaburg. That's the start of the arrival here. And then we have LATS at or above 11,000 feet. Yep. MDOT at or below 11,000 feet. Done up. Since we're going to runway 24 left, we should be at or below 9,000. Yep, that matches. And there's Maytep, LTAT, Sildo, max 210 knots at or below 4,000. And Kurdu, max 210 knots between 4,000 and 3,000. And then vectors, ball and vectors. And then on the approach to 24 left, at Trudeau International, 19th March, 2111-3 Alice runway 24 left. Localizer is 110.5. Approach course is 237 degrees. Incline slope at Al Nab, we should be at 1,520 feet. Okay. Already went over the minimums, that's all set. Touch that. And it's VMC conditions there, so we have plenty of visibility. Touchdown elevation is 118 feet, airport elevation is 118. So pattern altitude there is at 2,700 feet. We'll round it up doubly to 200. The missed approach, published missed is a climb heading 237 to, which we'll verify that in a minute. I'm sorry, it's getting late, man. Sorry. I'm say around Montreal VOR. It's 3,300 to the northwest, 3,000 other quadrants. Note-wise, radar RNAV required. Safe altitude within 100 nautical miles is 7,400 feet. Localizer reliable only within 10 degrees either side of central line. Procedure turn not authorized. Common loc frequency runway 6 right and 24 left. Verify the loc ident for this approach and simultaneous approach not authorized with runway 24 right. So legwise with those vectors, then we have slope at or above 3,000 feet. Alnav 1520. Yep. Runway 24 left, and then on that published miss, I'm heading 237 to 2.0 DME from IOA. Yep, that matches. And then you intercept 3,000 heading 112 to intercept outbound of the Montreal VOR 144 AL2 BEVSU and hold. And that hold is at 3,000 feet. Yep. $324 inbound, right hand turns. That all matches. If we get to land, it's going to be a right hand turn off. And hopefully we can get off at Alpha 2. Right turn to Alpha. And we'll take Alpha 3 if possible. Lima goes straight into our ramp. Alright, that's all I got. I'm going to set up our altitude window for bottom altitude, which looks like is 3,000 feet. Alright, there it is, 3,000 set, and we're only 40 nautical miles from our top of descent now. So getting there for sure. Getting much closer. And this switched me over to plan mode, which I don't want to be in. I want to be in map mode. And it's getting foggy in the mountains. Very cool. Let me turn on the navies so we get a better idea what's out there city-wise. So yeah, Burlington Vermont's coming up in about 60 miles off the nose. I see Lake Champlain up ahead. All right. Take a look outside the aircraft again. Well, that's kind of a cool shot. See if I can get that. Cool. Cool, got another neat screenshot. Do do do. All right. Got some cool views out the windows right now. Just very pretty country out there up here in upstate New York, and I think we might actually be out in New York now. Let's see where we are. Technically, I could probably just leave this map up so you know what we're looking at. You can see we're definitely getting to the end of this trip now. So yeah, Lake Champlain, big lake. So we're technically in we're in New York State. Yes, maybe on the Massachusetts, past Massachusetts now. So Vermont and New York State now. But it's beautiful out there. A lot of neat little lakes to fly to, it looks like. If you had a float plane, you're going to fly around. Very beautiful. Let's see what these lakes are off the left side of the aircraft here. Let's see. Looks like there's Shroon Lake. It's that larger one there with the little islands. And so that really has a name that's listed on this chart. So Shroon Lake. Very cool. We're really close to the top of the descent now. Yep, there it is. And we're beginning our descent into Montreal. That's exciting. into Montreal and the Quebecois. All right. Well, we'll just keep an eye on this descent. Autopilot typically does a pretty good job here in the MD-83 with these VNAV descents and hitting the targets, but sometimes it does go a little wonky. Like we were looking at earlier, we saw that one line that was being drawn quite a ways out. But we'll keep an eye on it. Andrew Green says, have you flown around the lakes of Minnesota? No, I have not. I would love to, though. I did fly a flight out in the countryside of Minnesota about a month ago, and we had Coastal Airways, I operated the Coastal Airways charter to Minneapolis. And it was actually spitting snow on the day I was flying. And actually, I was flying the plane Sean, you were talking about, the Black Square Cessna 208 Caravan. And it performed really well. You can see it. It is just a beautiful area. Look at those mountains. It's beautiful mountains. There's Lake Champlain. And Burlington, Vermont's coming up. The Green Mountains. I do hope we get to operate some flights into Burlington at some point here at Coastal, because it is a fun place to fly into. And you get some gnarly weather too with the winter, in the winter months, and even in the summer sometimes. Yep, so there's Burlington, Vermont, right off our right side there. There's the airport. And you get a good little overview of it here out the left side. I think, or off the right side, I mean. Off the left side, it's absolutely gorgeous with the fog forming in the mountains. Those look really beautiful. Alright, we got plenty of battery left on the tablet, so it's not going to die on us. At least we have the backup over there on the first officer's side. But actually, I left that thing on one time and it did die on me. Alright, I will be right back in just 1 second. I'll have it outside the aircraft. I'll be right back. Enjoy the views. I'll be right back in about 1 minute. Alright, I'm back. I am back. Let's get back in the cockpit. We're getting close to the flight level 180, which is our transition altitude as we head down into Montreal. We'll be crossing the Canadian border here soon. Somewhere between LAT and EBDOT is when we will enter into Canada officially. A large airport. And our altimeter setting, it's still 3021. Let me double check and make sure that's still the, yep, that's still the most accurate report, 3021 on the altimeters. This on standby, there it is. Set it here on the left. There's 3021, let's get the lights on. Right. The logo light back on. Get the auxiliary and transfer hydraulic pumps back on. Right, let's run the descent checklist. MSA is checked, approach and landing briefing performed. MFD is checked and cross-checked. The altimeter is set at, hold up. Altimeter is set at 3021, cross-checked. Landing data is confirmed. V-speed bugs are set at VREF 40 at 131. The approach is 136. Radio altimeter and audio marker are set and on. Hydraulic system is set and checked. We're at 3000 psi. And pressurization, let's check that really quickly. It's checked and set. So you can see we have the altimeter setting in there. Perfect. So check complete. Alright, we are almost into Canada. It's definitely starting to flatten out, as you can see. That is mountainous. Alright, we have to be below 11,000 feet when we get to EBDOT. And unfortunately, it looks like our... There it goes. Okay, perfect. I was like, where did our map go? Yeah, we're going to be below 11,000 feet, no problem. See the ENAV computer and the outpilot's doing an outstanding job. Alright, we are definitely in Canada now. You can see some of the satellite imagery changed once we got into Canada. Alright, so at Dunlop we gotta be at max at 220 knots, and well, actually, for 24 left, we just gotta be at or below 900,000 feet. We don't have to be. We can get out at 240 knots, so that works. Alright, I gotta need to make a radio call. Let me make sure I'm still on VATSIM. No problem. Yep, looking good. Alright. Montreal International Traffic, Riptide 5802 MD-83. 30 miles south inbound, ILS runway 24 left, Montreal International. 10,000 feet, let's give them the bells. Alright. We're gonna leave the chat room and there we go. Uh-oh. Sim froze up. Hopefully it doesn't crash on me. Yeah, it froze up on me. Ah, there it goes. Whew. That's scary when that happens. Like I said, my computer's acting funny tonight. There's the St. Lawrence Seaway. I think that's Montreal off the nose. So we are, yep, there it is, the beautiful city of Montreal. Alright. Our next restriction is going to be all the way at a couple of fixes from now. It's still to max of 210 knots at or below 4,000. So. So we'll probably need to get the, I'll go ahead and get the slats out now, just to help the aircraft out. Alright. Look at that. There she is, Montreal. And there's the airport. Very cool. You said, great job flying and go Nashville FC tomorrow. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you very much. And I agree with you. Go Nashville FC. I sure hope they can pull that off. Alright, time to start slowing down. Let me do message when you drag. Got another notch of flaps. Oh, you know what I forgot to do, I think? I did stow the flaps. Okay, good. So we gotta be at 210 knots at Sildo. We can actually go flaps 15 once we get to 210 knots. Which I do think we're going to reach. It is kind of foggy now. We are definitely going to need to shoot the ILS, I think. What is that? It's Omval, so I think after... Flaps 15. So we're going to level off at 3,000 feet, then we're just going to take the vectors around to the localizer course over at Sloka. Montreal International Traffic, Riptide 5802 MD-83, left downwind runway 24 left. Montreal. Alright, we're switching to heading mode now. And we'll arm approach mode. I can get the wing landing lights out. Not approach mode, but VRR loc. Oh yeah, it's definitely turned into an ILS. Alright, should be intercepting the localizer very shortly. Wow, this fog is really setting in here. Alright, localizer capture. And we can arm ILS. Oops, says no, I don't want an arm. I want an ILS. There we go. I do not know why it was doing that. You're down. Sweet. Ugh. Montreal International Traffic Group Type 5802, 7 mile final runway 24 left, Montreal.
25 minutes.
So we need to go to speed of 136. And 160 we can slow it back, we can put it in flaps 40. This will be a cool shot here in a bit. You can see the little hill I was talking about near downtown, and it's visible from the airport, especially if it's not foggy. But that's 40, please. We're gonna stall if I don't set it. Alright, approach, final check. Landing gear, lights down, 3 green. 5 slot lever, 40 green lights. Extended speed brake lever is armed. Auto brake is medium armed. Engine ignition selector is both. The EOAP set go around. Checked. I'll check complete. Let's see if I can get it. Yeah, that's cool. Our autopilot's coming off. Auto throttle's coming off. Runway's in sight. Definitely needed the ILS though. This is crazy how the fog set in. Yeah, about not slow, increasing rust. Visual. Go! Woohoo! We're down. Now we got the spoilers out and brakes are out. Extended. Let's go back to reverse idle and stow the reversers, please. Awesome. We'll take it off right here at this next right. Awesome. Here we go. We are in Montreal. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Like there's a little bump in the scenery there. I'm going to take it over here to the left. It won't be as severe. I did download a freeware scenery. Okay. Like we said, we're going to be taking a right. Be a pretty sharp right, actually. Alright, here we go. The Air Canada. And Montreal traffic, Riptide 5802, clear only 24 left at Alpha 4, taxiing via Alpha. And Alpha 3 will, actually via Alpha will hold short only 24 left. Montreal. So we're going to take it all the way to the end, Alpha there. We might be able to take Alpha 3 across, I'll see. But yeah, pretty cool scenery. This is freeware, so they did a really good job. Look at that Air Canada hangar there. That looks really nice. Yeah, let me get the GSX up. Or spot 10 is where you'd be parking. There we go. No. And it's over there. Or we're parking. Turn the weather radar off. Definitely a lot lighter than when we took off. This plane's like ready to roll. Alright, after landing check. Let's get the APU started. Alright, this will take us straight across. And Montreal International traffic, Riptide 5802, crossing runway 24 left at Alpha 3. And then we'll be continuing Lima to parking. Montreal. Get this. All right. I need to listen to the identifier of the. All right, I see the. Yep, that's our building over there. It's like something, etc. I think is the name of it. Look it up on the paperwork, but. Alright, the after landing check was flap slot levers. Things up. Auto brake is off. Speed brake lever retracted. Engine ignition selector off. Pitot and static heaters are off. Full engine anti-ice switch is off. Ice switch, yep, off, and radar off. after line check complete. And here is our parking spot. Alright, let's see. Is that friction bug that's in Flight Simulator? It'll be a straight in park here, and we'll have to push out of this gate for sure. Alright. We are. Make sure we got the APU on. Generator's looking good. Get the GPU hooked up. Do what we can here. Got that, got that, got that. You can turn the transponder off. Got that. Alright, park and check. Fuel tank pump switches. Just one on for the APU, auxiliary, and transfer hydraulic pump switches. Actually, let me get, let's turn this taxi nose light off. Get the doors open for the passengers, because we'll need the hydraulics for the aft stair. Oh, once we gotta get out airplane mode first, I think. Flight mode. There we go. Oh, it's the seatbelt sign maybe, and the anti-collision light. Yep, there it is. Alright. Oh, I don't know. There it goes. Now it's working. And we need forward, mid, aft cargo open. Alright, park and check. Fuel tank pump switches are as required. Auxiliary and transfer hydraulic pumps off, and park and brake is set. Park and check is complete. And here we are. Excellent. Well, thank you all for flying this evening with me at Coastal Airways Charter. Andrew Green, thank you so much for your encouragement, for sticking around through the entire flight.
Requested.
Getting the deboarding started here. For now, VRF Simmer, I'm signing off. This was a fun flight, but it was a long flight and it's late now. Time to get some sleep in the part of the world I'm in. I very well might stream another flight later, early in the week. One of the charters to the US Open Cup, but definitely plan to stream again next Friday as we continue Coastal Airways charters with Major League Soccer, Orlando SC, and also Inter Miami CF. For now, VRF Simmer signing off. Look forward to seeing you all again in the friendly skies soon. Thanks, and have a great evening, afternoon, morning, wherever you might be on planet Earth. See ya.
recording started.